What's going on, everybody? It's Terrence Price. I have been wanting to make this video for a little while. I wanted to talk about this for a little bit, something that's been on my mind. And forgive me for the video quality. It's probably not the best, but as long as I can get my point across. Today, I want to talk about something that's is more serious. And today, I'm going to talk about sexual frustration, particularly as it relates to men, being a man, especially if you're trying to do the right thing and if you're trying to walk the path of righteousness with Jesus Christ. In this day and age, doing the right thing in life is tough, period. But especially whenever it comes to the sexual realm, it's a very powerful emotion. It's very difficult to resist. Most people, most men were slaves to it, and we don't have the discipline. Well, I don't want to say, we don't have the discipline necessary to act accordingly and move accordingly. A lot of us, we're too easy to go to bed with a woman just because she looks good. And you have too many men that will encourage other men to indulge in sexual gratification, not thinking of the consequences. There are plenty of consequences that could materialize from being ruled by your flesh and your sexual desires and your sexual urges. You could end up getting with a woman that already has a man on the side and she lied to you. And maybe a lot of dudes know and they just don't care. A lot of dudes are snakish and they'll get with a woman that already has a dude. They'll do it to their friends, some of them even. But you could get with a woman that already has a guy, and it could put your well-being, your physical well-being in jeopardy. Plenty of stories of that. One of my friends told me a situation that he had where he was dealing with a woman and it almost cost him his life. The baby daddy pulled up on him, and the situation could have turned out far worse than it did. You could end up getting a woman pregnant that is going to end up making the rest of your life miserable. Proverbs talks about that. And I'm paraphrasing, but it's better to be on the corner of a rooftop than sharing a household with a quarrelsome wife, a quarrelsome woman who will just nag you all the time. Very stressful, very unpleasant. That's not the kind of woman that you want to be with. Or maybe she lies on you, goes to the authorities and makes up a lie saying that you did horrible things to her. And a lot of times the law enforcement is going to believe her just because she's a woman, which is unfortunate, but that's the reality in which we exist, I'm afraid. So you have to be careful. But you have a lot of men that don't advocate for discipline, sexual discipline. And I believe that that's another facet of being a man, not going out here and sleeping around with a bunch of different women. But like I said, it's difficult as a man to resist these things because sex is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. The temptation is everywhere. It's very difficult to look anywhere and not see some sexual image, a woman showing off her body. You go say Instagram and you see, or Facebook, whatever, TikTok, and you see women just showing off their bodies all the time. They have a business, a so-called business, or maybe they're an artist, and it's like their body is their business card. They're selling their bodies and their looks more so than their actual talent, more so than their actual business. Well, why does your body have to come with whatever it is that you're selling, your music or your business, whatever that might be, whatever that may be? A lot of them, they will have something to do with Jesus or God in their bio or a Bible verse, but yet you don't have to scroll very far in their profile to see them showing off their body. And I just don't understand it. And then women want to turn around and complain about men and say that men only want one thing. Well, the men that you mess with only want the one thing. You're advertising yourself as being easy, and a man, a decent man that wants something serious, he's not going to want a woman that shows off her body. He doesn't want an easy woman. Why would you show off your body like that? And so the point that I'm making, and this doesn't absolve me or any other man of responsibility or accountability. I'm simply saying it does, though, make it a lot more challenging whenever these obstacles are put in front of you all the time, daily. You know what I mean? It's very unfortunate. And you can do good for a little while. I myself will do okay for a little while. But the more that you're exposed to beautiful women, the more you begin to weaken. Your resolve, my resolve, begins to weaken. And it's frustrating. And to be honest, sometimes I am frustrated with the Lord, because I just think to myself, well, and not to be like, oh, woe is me. But a lot of times it's just, I think to myself, well, I'll say out loud sometimes to him, well, what do you want me to do, Lord? What do you expect us to do? Why did you create us this way with this strong urge? So I believe that a lot of men, especially if you're a young man, you should be in the gym doing something with your energy, that testosterone. It's going to drive you crazy otherwise. So that helps me, but that temptation is still there, and it's something we have to always fight against. And it can be very frustrating a lot of the times, man, because, not to be vulgar, but it's crazy because the clarity, the post-nut clarity, it's definitely a thing. And I'm sorry if that's vulgar, but I'm just being honest. It's definitely a thing. It's real. Because you can think that you like a woman, and it's just because you have all that sexual energy pent up. But then if you release, it's like you come back to your senses and you can see and think clearly. And you say to yourself, I'm not really interested in that woman. I just had all that sexual energy built up. And it's messed up that that's the way that it is. So you have to channel that somewhere, whether it be in your passion or the gym, whatever it is, because it can drive you crazy. But it's so frustrating, man, that it's that powerful. And to release is a sin. Outside of marriage, it's a sin. But at the same time, when you don't release, it's like it drives you crazy. And you'll think that you like a woman, or you're attracted to a woman, you don't really like her like that. It's just you have all that sexual energy built up, and it messes with your mind. You don't think clearly. And man, it's so frustrating, and it's so disheartening. And so I want to segue into the next topic of discussion, which is, because earlier I talked about how it's a sin to release outside of marriage. And so I want to segue into marriage, and just the way that women are. The Bible talks about female nature. See, as men, we've been led to believe that women are sugar spice and everything nice, and that's just not true. A lot of women are cutthroat. Women will say men are dogs. I'm telling you, women are far worse. And this isn't me being hateful towards women. I'm just being honest. Just from what I've learned, what I've experienced, and what I've seen, what I've come to know, and the stories that I've heard. It's just women are the ones initiating divorce most of the time, and a lot of times it's for something silly, for something ridiculous. And y'all see the video clips I post of what, the things about women. And the other day I posted something about, and this is coming from a woman, saying how hard women are to please and how ridiculous their standards are. How women just have this laundry list of demands that they want from men, and how anything could be a deal breaker for a woman. Maybe she likes you today, tomorrow maybe she doesn't like the shoes that you wear, and so that causes her to lose interest and lose attraction. And so there you go, you're marked off the list. And it's just silly things like that. Maybe she doesn't like the way that you eat, or I don't know, just silly things. And I'm not even being facetious. This is real. This is serious. This is how a lot of women operate. This is how they think. This is how they act. This is how they maneuver. It's just so stressful, man. And so knowing how ridiculous the dating game is, and how wishy-washy women can be, and how finicky they are, a lot of men are checking out of dating. And that goes for myself as well. I've really come to enjoy being single. Very rarely will I think to myself, man, it'd be cool to be in a relationship or to be married or whatever, because again, it's just so peaceful. They say that women are agents of chaos. Not all, but a lot. I would even venture to say the vast majority. They bring chaos. They bring a lot of stress into your life. I'm at the point, man, where I really enjoy my peace. And I'm not going to be dealing with any stress and chaos. If I'm dealing with a chick and she shows any signs of being combative or having an attitude or being masculine or being chaotic and stressful, hey, that I'm a kick her to the curb. I'm not going to deal with that. Period. I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. But some examples of how women will be chaotic, and I've had women will tell you this. I've had discussions with women, and they told me this, that they'll start arguments with their guy just for the heck of it, just because they're bored. They'll start an argument with you, men, just because they're bored and they want to see how you respond. And to me, that's so chaotic. I don't have time for that. And they'll be upset with you if you don't fight with them. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that so, like, if there are women watching this, why y'all like that? Why do y'all do that? It doesn't make any sense. And so as men, we are problem solvers and we like to fix things. So of course we're going to start trying to get to the root of the problem, but there is no problem. The problem is her. Is she likes chaos. And that's why a lot of women that have a lengthy dating history, you got to watch them. Because the vast majority of these women, they've dated the bad boys. And so they like the unpredictability of the waves. See, most women get bored easily. And they get bored of decent guys, of good guys. A lot of women don't like stability. What I just said earlier, they'll start an argument just for the heck of it because it's fun for them. And that's how they bond with you, a lot of them. So that's why women, a lot of times, they'll have, like I said, an extensive dating history, and they've dated a bunch of dudes. A lot of them were the bad boys. So they can't stay in a relationship for very long. They can't stay in a stable relationship for long because they get bored. They're used to the storm. They're used to the toxicity, the ups and downs, the roller coaster of emotion. That's why they're like dudes that don't show them commitment. They don't give them a straight answer because they're unsure. They don't know. Women don't like stability. Not all, but a lot of them. And I would even say the vast majority of women female nature. Solomon talks about it in the Bible. King David talks about it. Look at what happened with Samson and Delilah. Strong dude, strongest guy, big dude, cut down by a woman half his size, probably less than half his size. And it happens often. It happens often, a lot of times. I've been broken down by women before, brokenhearted, and I see it happens a lot. A lot of dudes, big, strong dudes, cut down by a woman a third of their size. Women can be cold and manipulative. No one can manipulate like a woman can. No one. The bad boys that have a lot of women, that most of these women are going for, that play games, where do you think they learned it? They learned it from women. Me, I'm not saying I'm the most slick, debonair dude, but I have a decent amount of game. I know how to talk to women. I know how to play the game and all that. I didn't just wake up and know this. It took experience. It took trial and tribulation, and error, a lot of pain, a lot of mistakes. Being that nice guy that a lot of dudes have been lied to, have been led to believe it's a lie. I'm not saying be a jerk, be a gentleman, be kind within reason. Don't tolerate disrespect. Don't try to save a relationship. What J. Cole say? Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. She don't want to be saved. Don't save these girls, man. Don't save these women. I'm aware of the red flags. I'm not dealing with a woman that has an extensive dating history. I'm not dealing with a woman that has a high body count. I'm not dealing with a woman that has unnatural hair colors. I'm not dealing with a woman that has all these tattoos and so on and so forth, that has daddy issues. I'm not doing it, because I'm not going to get sucked into trying to save somebody. And I'm not throwing shots. I'm just being honest. Are there good women out there? Yes. But it's like searching for a needle in a needle stack. You're going to have to go through a lot of pain and jump through a lot of hoops. And a lot of guys, myself included, just feel like the juice just is not worth the squeeze. It's just not worth the effort anymore. I just don't care. Every once in a while, maybe if the strong temptation, the burning desire sets in, but that's about it. I went off on a tangent. All that, what I just said was important, but I wanted to segue into what I said earlier about the marriage thing. If you're trying to live the path of righteousness, being married, sex is okay inside of marriage. The issue is marriage. I've started to believe that marriage is a scam for men. Marriage does not benefit men. It just doesn't. Paternity fraud is not a crime. A woman, and it happens often, a woman can say to a man, "This is your child." He finds out 2, 3 years later, however many years later, is not his child. That's so painful. Talk about having your world flipped upside down. Talk about having your heart ripped out of your chest. I couldn't imagine anything more painful than that. This kid, this beautiful child that I thought was mine, these years I find out they're not mine. Man, that's so painful. I tell you what, man, I'm not much of a crier. Maybe a few years ago I was, whenever I used to be that nice guy. You know what I'm saying? But not no more. A very different person than I was a few years ago. So I'm not into emotion and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not much of a crier. There ain't many things in this world that would make me shed a tear, but something like that might do it. A child that I thought was mine, I find out they're not. And the woman that you trusted, she lied to you. about something like that. That's cold-hearted. That's cruel. That's just the manipulation and the deceit. It doesn't get to a higher level than that. That's crazy. That's so dark. That's evil to me. So a woman can do that, and then the guy finds out later on down the road that it's not his kid. Chances are it's too late. He's still going to be on the hook for child support because he already signed that birth certificate. He already filled that father figure role. So for the next 18 years or so, he's probably on the hook for child support. And then child support. Don't even get me started on that. How that doesn't benefit men whatsoever. Women getting hundreds or thousands of dollars, whatever, tens of thousands of dollars to, for child support. It didn't cost that much to raise that kid. You don't need that much that month, but per month. A lot of it, they're spending it on themselves. Happens all the time. These celebrities happens all the time. Their wife gets millions of dollars. You mean to tell me that I could marry a woman? And because women change their mind so often, she could change her mind. It's actually quite often that relationships is called the 7-year itch, where a woman will divorce her man after 7 years or so because they get bored. So you mean to tell me a woman can step out on me, can be unfaithful to me, divorce me, and she just gets half of my assets? So I heard about Eric Spoelstra. Supposedly, I think he got like a big bonus or a raise or something like that. They waited until his divorce was finalized before they awarded him that because now his wife missed out on that. Very smart, but it's a shame that you have to think that way. You have to be that way. Otherwise, she would have got half right out the gate. That's so crazy to me. I could sit here as a man and for the next 10, 15, 20 years, build myself up, have a successful business, have a decent net worth, live comfortably, and along the way, I pick a woman, and it's a woman that's in church and all that kind of stuff, and she decides to divorce me because she's bored, or she saw Tyrone at the gym, or Kevin from sales. She steps out on me for him, and I lose half of that, and all she did was come along for the ride. Come on, man. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that, man. That's so crazy to me. Man, I've had legitimate sources tell me that marriage, just the family court itself is biased in the woman's favor. And it's messed up. It's not gonna change because the government is making too much money from the welfare program and single mothers and all that kind of stuff. All these programs that are put in place to benefit women and destroy men, the government's making too much money off of it. Child support, the government's making too much money off of it. They're never going to change that. They're never going to make paternity fraud a crime because then they would have to be the ones paying for the child, not this man. So that's why paternity fraud isn't a crime, because it keeps the man on the hook and it's money out of our pocket, men, not the government's pocket. So, and the issue is really, it would come down to the women that would have to stand up and speak against this stuff. But you have these radical feminists that are brainwashing women. And then maybe you do have a certain segment of women that agree with everything that I'm saying right now. But the issue is that we don't have enough of those women that are speaking up for men. And you know what's really messed up is they won't speak up for men because they're benefiting from it too. They're benefiting from the law believing what a woman has to say just because she's a woman and taking her side. They're benefiting from a woman having majority custody of the kids right out of the gate. They're benefiting from all these things. So maybe they do, maybe there is a set of women that agree with what myself and other men are saying when we say these things. But at the end of the day, they don't care so much that they would fight for us and speak on our behalf. They're going to stay quiet because they enjoy the perks of being a woman. They enjoy the perks that society grants women. I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be controversial, but it's the truth. And this isn't me complaining, this is just me telling the truth. Life is tough in general, but it's more difficult as a man. I know that we've been conditioned to believe that women have it difficult. And I'm not saying they don't. I mean, the periods and pregnancy, hey, I take my hat off to you women. I take my hat off to y'all. I really do. I've respect for y'all in that. But men have it tougher. Women are babied, they're catered to. A woman can lose her job and be perfectly fine. Someone's gonna pay for her food, or women they'll get free food when they go on dates with guys. A lot of times they won't even like the guy that they're on a date with. They're just using him for free food. That's not gonna happen to me though. If I had a date tomorrow with a woman, I wouldn't pay for anything. And let that be a test. If she has an issue with that, then it's a red flag, and I'm gonna kick her to the curb. But you're not entitled to my wallet just because you're a woman. You have to earn that. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's how we need to start thinking. We can't be out here just sleeping with women just because they look good. We have to control ourselves. It's tough. But we need more men encouraging one another to practice semen retention and things of this nature, just sexual discipline, because that's where a lot of us fail. And that's where we go wrong, is because we're not disciplined in the sexual realm. And that's part of what makes a man a man. It can be done, and it is frustrating, and it's tough, but it can be done. It must be done. It's something that I struggle with as well. I'm not perfect. I'm not impervious to this. But there's a lot of stress and pressure on the shoulders of men. The male suicide rate, it's climbing. Society doesn't care about men. That's why society is trying to silence strong men. This term, toxic masculinity, is ridiculous. And if there's no truth in what I'm saying, why then you have content creators that are saying that the exact same things that I'm saying? Why then are they being silenced? The same thing with this, the vaccine and all that kind of stuff. People come out and say something about that, and you get hit with a fact check or whatever. But yet people that push that, nothing happens to them. They don't get shadow banned. So why then are men that are saying the same thing that I'm saying, and some women that say the same thing that I'm saying, why are we being silenced? Why are those people being demonetized? Why are they being deplatformed? Why are they being censored? I'm subscribed to plenty of content creators that are saying the same things that I'm saying right now. They have to dance around so many words because YouTube will catch it in the algorithm, and they'll be demonetized, or they'll get their video taken down. Oh, and I've experienced censorship as well. One time on Facebook, there was a woman who posted how toxic women can damage good men as well, but we don't talk about that. And then I commented, I shared that, and I commented, and I said, well, women are actually worse than men, but we're not ready to talk about that. When I said that, I got a pop-up from Facebook that said, are you sure you want to post this? Something about it being along the same lines of other posts that went against their guidelines, or it wasn't true, something like that, they said. But it asked me if I was sure I wanted to post that. And I said, yeah, I want to post it. So I posted it. I saw that one of my friends had commented and responded. He actually told me, he said, I had to unhide your comment because Facebook hid it. And I went and I looked, and it was hidden. I saw that they hid my comment. And actually, before that, I left this part out. This is very important. When I posted that originally, when they asked me if I really wanted to post it, I said yes. I went back and I said the same exact thing, but I swapped the word women for men. Nothing happened. No disclaimer, no nothing like that. With no warning, nothing. Same exact thing. I just swapped out the word women for men. You go on TikTok and there are thousands upon thousands of videos of women being misandrous. Misandrous is the female equivalent of misogyny. Women saying hateful things about men, complaining about men, saying bad things about men. Those videos, they have thousands of views, millions of views, thousands of likes, shares, reposts. But you say what I'm saying about women and you get shadow banned or it gets demonetized and censored. So I'm going to end with this. All the things I said about marriage earlier, you're taking a risk as a man. Do I really want to take that risk? I don't. I don't believe there's, and I'm not trying to sound pessimistic or nihilistic, but I don't think there's a woman that I would like enough or trust enough to take that risk. That if she leaves, I lose half of my assets. No questions asked. Or maybe this kid's not really mine. I believe DNA tests should be mandatory. They won't do that. Because again, it goes back to what I was saying about the whole paternity fraud thing. They won't do it. They won't make a DNA test mandatory. Women wouldn't want that either. So it's up to us men to be disciplined and to just be smart and to control ourselves. But everything I said earlier about marriage, the risks that are involved, why would I want to take that risk? You see, and a lot of these women are damaged. A lot of these women have nothing to offer you. They're not going to add to your life. A lot of them are going to make you miserable. In society, we're told that a real man will accept a woman despite her past, despite her baggage. That's just not true. Don't be gaslit, men. There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to deal with a woman that's damaged. There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to deal with a single mother. There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to deal with a woman that has slept with a bunch of guys, that has been in a lot of relationships. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to deal with any of those types of women that I just named. The chances of me finding a woman, that Proverbs woman, that good woman, that is going to work well with me, slim to none. I'm not delusional. I'm not pessimistic. I'm just being realistic. I'm fine with that. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't, I'll be fine. Either way, I don't need a woman to complete my life, but it does get tough sometimes when that temptation sets in, and it can be frustrating. So society will say, well, you're not a real man, or you're not strong enough to handle a woman that has an attitude. No, because women aren't supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be feminine, and the man is supposed to be the leader. Granted, men are becoming weaker, and that's unfortunate. So we need more men to encourage other men to be men. Sleeping around does not make you a man. It's easy to give in to sin. It's easy to give in to your flesh, but can you do the right thing and maintain discipline, that's what's really tough. That's what's really impressive. And I need the Lord's help to do it. I can't do it on my own. I'm not strong enough. I am a 29-year-old virgin, and it's difficult. I'd be lying if I said it's been tough. Or I'd be lying if I said it's been easy. It's been tough. It is tough. But it's necessary. I want to follow the Lord's word, but I certainly slip up. I have plenty of lustful thoughts. And like I said, there are plenty of times where I'm frustrated with the Lord because of that sexual energy. And what I just said earlier about not trusting a woman enough to marry her and the marriage laws not favoring men, what do? I feel for you, men. And for the women that are trying to do the right thing, and you're walking the path of righteousness with the Lord. If you're trying to wait to find that good man and it's tough for you, hey, it's tough for all of us. This is just a tough battle. It's a struggle. It is. But this is the cold hard truth, men. No one is coming to save us. No one is coming to save you. You're just expected to figure it out as a man and deal with it. So that's why I'm saying we need more men to speak to each other, to encourage each other, to help each other. Because we don't have enough of that. Like I said, this world caters to women. We live in a gynocentric society, and it does not like men. It does not like men. Doesn't care about men. Anyway, these are just some thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys, and hopefully this helps somebody. Hopefully you're encouraged by what I said. I know I said a lot of things that might seem dark, but I mean, it's just the truth. You have to unplug from this lie that women are sweet and innocent. They're not. A lot of them are cutthroat, and women know how they are. It took me a while to understand the truth, but I understand it now. And it's tough walking this road. And I ask the Lord for strength every day. Just be careful out there, men. Don't just give it up so easy. Just like how we value women that don't give it up so easily, we need to value ourselves that way as well. Anyway, I'm rambling. This is a long video, 38 minutes, man, but this is a lot of stuff that I had to get off my chest, and a lot of stuff that I had on my mind. But we have to help each other as men. I hope this video helps somebody out there. Stay safe, guys.